So I wanted to show some kind of vintage tools, historical tools. And actually today I'm out frying a turkey, a couple of turkeys. So I'm also going to start hanging some Christmas lights. And this is a Craftsman tool set, but it's probably better known as a Black & Decker tool. And it was the Versapak tool line. This came out in the early 90s, and I remember them all the way up into the 2000s. Of course, the original NiCad batteries don't work anymore. These you can buy on Amazon. They're lithium ion. And this was really a forerunner, I think. Ahead of its time, I should say. Because they made hundreds of different tools, as I remember. I remember they had all kinds of yard tools, outdoor tools. They had even, I remember a tool that we had that was powered by these batteries that scrubbed like tubs and stuff. Is a old 7.2 with these kind of tools. They were 7.2 for the powerful ones. Is that relevant? As relevant as it ever was, in my opinion. At the time that these came out, the big competition would have been probably, or the really powerful, popular tool I remember would have been like the Makita 9.6 and 12 volt line. And the Makita 9.6, it was no joke. It was a very competent tool. I'm actually going to do a review on a vintage one shortly. My parents had one as their cordless drill, and they built 2 full homes that we lived in, and they built them with their own 2 hands. It's not like they contracted it out. And that was their cordless drill, that Makita 9.6. So if you were in the market for a cordless drill, and Makita made a lot of things, just like Black & Decker and apparently Craftsman, who was, a monster in the tool industry at the time for home improvement, or do-it-yourself, I should say. You didn't need to, and you didn't want to spend the kind of money for a full-blown professional-grade tool. Maybe this was a really good option. So I'm going to use this to drill a couple of light holes, and then I'm going to, in some ways they were a little bit ahead of their time. It's got a jigsaw blade, but it was a little Sawzall. My parents actually had one of these. It was Black & Decker brand, but they used it to plumb the whole house because it was quicker to cut the PVC with this than a regular saw. So I've got a old metal shopping cart I've got to cut apart. We didn't steal it. It was a long story, I'll tell you, as I get to working on that. But I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so I'm hanging some hooks for this Christmas light, which is really not what this tool is. I mean, it's a low-speed drill, 700 RPMs. And it's 2-speed, actually, but it's not a variable speed, and it doesn't have a gearbox. The first half of the trigger is low speed. All the way in is high speed, so I'm guessing that that's more of like a power thing than a gearing. This is a very small drill bit. We'll see how it goes. So, my grandfather, I mentioned my parents had a Makita 9.6. My grandfather had the Black & Decker version of this, but it was so early it didn't have a keyless chuck, and he wasn't building a house. He was building outbuildings and barns for animals on his property. But I remember him loading up his Black & Decker Versapak drill. And taking it out. So, yeah, I mean, it does the job. It's just not impressive. So my Christmas lights are now hung. And, it's not an overwhelmingly... this also was a real quick little job. I wasn't trying to do something neat, so don't judge me here. It wasn't an overwhelmingly powerful drill. Like, I would not be thinking I can go start a business with this. But if it would have been 1994 and I'd come home, maybe read a review or two on some kind of an online magazine on dial-up internet, I probably would have liked this. Or read a review in the newspaper. I would have felt pretty happy. One thing I've read is these old tools have terrible ergonomics. And they do. Holding it like this, it's terrible. But as I scoured the internet, I noticed people were holding it like this. And if you look at the grooves, that feels very comfortable. It actually has good ergonomics that way. All right, so this little Sawzall, it's a U-shank, which it took me a minute to figure out how to use a U-shank. I've never had one before. It's a 7.2, but it doesn't feel underpowered. And my parents, like I said, they used to use it for plumbing, and it wasn't underpowered at all. So this old cart, when my wife and I were dating, we shopped at a particular grocery store almost every Friday night because we were foodies and we would do a lot of cooking together. So she saw one of these at the dumpster of her apartment, this particular cart, and thought it'd be cute to bring it home and dress it up and put a lot of little planters in it. But it's time to get rid of it, so I'm going to try cutting it apart, and we're going to see what happens here. Like I said, I don't know what to expect. I'm not expecting a whole lot, but let's see. That's much thicker wall than I would have expected. Wow, it is a lot thicker walled. I think we're through the cook part now. I'll be surprised if we get 2 of these on a set of batteries. So yeah, this shows its abilities as a 7.2 now. It's worked really good for little pieces of wood and stuff that I've cut. So I would be disappointed. So as I finish up, put everything back. This little saw was not capable of cutting through the metal like that, and it wasn't designed for that. So I'm not real disappointed with that. What I'm surprised about is now, of course, these are lithium-ion batteries, but it didn't kill the batteries, and I really expected it would have. To be fair, I did get the card all cut up, but it was with my full-size 18-volt Ryobi Sawzall, and it destroyed the blade, and it killed the 4-amp-hour battery. So, to give you a little bit of perspective on why this old tool wouldn't do it. But, this was I think these would have been a good option in the early 90s for a little light do-it-yourself stuff now. I'm going to do little projects with them for just nostalgia. And I bought this whole set. It had all the instructions, but it didn't come with charger or batteries, which wouldn't have worked anymore anyway. I bought the whole set from Goodwill for like $10, I think. So it's a fun little trip down memory lane and to see how it used to be. So that's what it was like.